Hello ladies and gentlemen, and movie lovers of all kind, and welcome back to the channel. As always, I am your host, Brett Murphy, and for today's video, I have a brand new ranking for you all, as I am going to be ranking all 8 of the Transformers movies. So as most of you movie lovers out there likely know, Transformers Rise of the Beast released this past weekend, and not only did it top the box office in its opening weekend, but it also marks the 8th Transformers movie, the 7th live action one. Myself personally, I am a massive Transformers fan, so I was really looking forward to this one. So the question now is, and the one I aim to answer today is, where does it land among the rest? Well folks, we're about to find out. As a quick little side note too, if you are someone who enjoys rankings but don't quite have the time to sit down and watch a 15-20 minute video, I also have a shorts version of this video that is only 60 seconds long. Of course, there is a lot less detail, a lot less discussion, but it still does have my full ranking, so that is an option out there for you as well. Before I hop into the actual ranking itself, I just wanted to let you all know that I have an entire playlist dedicated to all of my ranking videos. There are well over 100 videos currently on that playlist for you to enjoy, so if rankings are your thing, then be sure to check that out, and I guarantee you'll find something you like. And so without further ado, let's hop right into things. Number 8. Transformers: The Last Knight. So, funny story to actually go along with this one, and don't worry, I will keep it short and sweet because I know I do tend to ramble, but I was actually looking forward to this movie. I thought the trailers looked pretty dope. I mean, seeing Optimus Prime as the bad guy, we were finally getting Unicron in the Bayformers verse. Everything just seemed to be headed in the right direction. It was also the shortest movie since the first Bayformers movie, which was pretty good coming off of the extremely lengthy Age of Extinction, so my hopes weren't extremely high or anything, but they were high enough that, yeah, I was really looking forward to this one. And then it absolutely sucked. Yep, I hate this movie. I vividly remember leaving the movie theater with a migraine because as the movie was going on, I was trying to piece the story together and make sense of the timeline, make sense of what was going on around me, and it actually gave me a full-blown massive headache. And I've only ever tried to go back to this movie one other time, and I think I got about 45 minutes in and I shut it off and never finished it, which never happens. I always finish a movie. I couldn't get through the second round of this movie. It isn't all bad because, truth be told, like all of Michael Bay's movies, really, the movie is still stunning. I mean, the visual effects work, the CGI is all flawless, and if you have this in 4K, or if you got to see it in an IMAX theater, the IMAX ratio shots are truly breathtaking, but everything else is just atrocious. If you're a fan of this one, awesome. All the power to you, but I most definitely am not. Number 7. Transformers: Age of Extinction. From this point on, I actually enjoy all of these movies to a certain degree. I know that many people out there hate all of the Michael Bay Transformers movies, and that's totally cool, but I enjoy them. I grew up loving these movies, and to this very day, I still love them. Age of Extinction does have a lot of good. Once again, going back to the visuals, the CGI, the explosions, and the fight scenes and all that stuff, all of that works really, really well for me. The story is poorly written. These new characters after we were done with Sam Witwicky's story are just as dull as could possibly be. I love Marky Mark, Mr. Mark Wahlberg, but this series was just not a fit for him in my own personal opinion. I thought the villain was really cool, the guy that had like a sniper as a head, it was locked down or something like that. His ship was cool and stuff, but I do feel like this movie did feed us some lies throughout its trailers and its marketing and the title Age of Extinction. It looked like it was going to be another full-blown invasion of Earth, and that couldn't be the furthest thing from the truth. Michael Bay humor is just riddled all throughout the script, and it is just very uncomfortable to listen to. You get a lot of major secondhand embarrassment. But honestly, this movie's biggest sin is that it's nearly 3 freaking hours long, and boy oh boy do you feel it at times. This movie is at its best, unsurprisingly, when it puts the pedal to the metal and goes all in on the action extravaganza that it is. Everything else, though, is what you've come to expect from these movies. Number 6. Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen. I unapologetically love this movie. I've seen this movie way too many times, far more than I'd ever care to admit, because I just have so much nostalgia for it. I have a major soft spot for it. It just hits all those sweet spots for me. I saw this movie back when it was in theaters, and I was like 9 or 10 at the time, something like that, and it was everything I was hoping it would be back then, and just those feelings have stuck with me throughout time. So I constantly put this one on, and I know the issues, and I get the issues, and I recognize them, and I could sit here all day picking this movie apart to death. It was written during a writer's strike, and it 100% shows, but I can't help but love this movie to this very day. Number 5. Transformers: The Movie. Look, it's a nice little throwback. I don't adore this movie like I do some of the other Bayformers and other Transformers live action movies, and that's why I felt that putting it like dead in the middle was the best place for it, because I didn't grow up with the Transformers cartoon. I didn't grow up with this movie, and it is exactly that, and just that for me. It's a nice, nostalgic 80s throwback cartoon movie. I know it definitely does its job for a lot of people. Some people will still have this as their favorite Transformers movie, and that's perfectly okay, but almost anyone that will have that in first place, I'm willing to bet they grew up with it. That's not the case for me, so smack dab in the middle is where I'm going to put it. Number 4. Bumblebee. Now this one is sure to be controversial, because even just the short ranking that I did a few days ago and the other Transformers movie ranking that I did a few years ago, I'd say half, if not the majority of people have Bumblebee in the first place spot, and it is definitely deserving of that, okay? For me, it's just I'm nitpicky because I grew up with the Bayformers movies, and I like their big, bombastic, epic feel, and this movie is just a little too small scale in my humble opinion, and that's just me personally. The fact that we only have like 2 Decepticons and 1 Autobot, and there's only a few little skirmishes here and there, I just feel like there's not enough to keep me engaged all the time. The pace isn't necessarily as fast and as breakneck as I'd hoped for, and it just doesn't go as big and explosive like I like my Transformers movies to be. Again, that's all personal preference. I am, however, super willing to admit that this movie works on every other level. It probably has... Nope, it definitely has the best story of all the live-action Transformers movies. It has the best lead human character with Haley Steinfeld's Charlie. And this is just a really beautiful and surprisingly touching coming-of-age story centered around probably the most unlikely friendship imaginable. So this movie definitely does its job, and it's totally understandable if this is your favorite Transformers movie, but it's going to be in 4th place for me today. Also, I'm happy that John Cena did finally get to do something like Peacemaker and really show his range, because he has got to play the most generic military villain you could possibly imagine in this flick. Number 3. Transformers: Rise of the Beasts. Really, this one managed to accurately replicate a lot of what Bumblebee did right. I thought that both of our main human characters were really good. They were grounded, they were relatable, they were funny, and I really felt for them in their situation, and both of the actors gave fantastic performances. So props to them, because human characters definitely get a bit too much of the focus in these Transformers movies, but at least Bumblebee and Rise of the Beasts really made it work. And really, to keep this one short, sweet, and simple, I just had a blast with this movie. I have a few nitpicks that are a bit easier to point out, like the CGI is a little shoddy from time to time. I don't really know where they were headed towards the end of that final battle. I mean, you see it a bit in the trailer. It's when Noah gets like his own suit. That was a bit puzzling, a bit jarring. It also didn't look great either. The movie definitely could have used a lot more color, and the Maximals are not in it anywhere near as much as you'd think they would be. But really, those are just small things in the grand scheme of things, because I thought that the action was top-notch. It was big, dumb, explosive fun, and whenever the throwdowns were happening, they looked great. I thought all of the voice work was also phenomenal, especially Pete Davidson, who surprised the hell out of me as Mirage. You can never go wrong with Peter Cullen returning once again to voice Optimus Prime, and I also felt that Peter Dinklage brought one of the Transformers' most menacing villains yet to life pretty freaking marvelously. I loved Scourge, and his theme, the score for him whenever he's on screen, was just beautiful. Really, the best way I can describe this one is it feels like watching a live-action Saturday morning cartoon, and it did a lot right for me. Number 2, Transformers: Dark of the Moon. This one very easily could have been in the first place spot. In fact, many times after rewatching it especially, I do consider this to be my favorite Transformers movie, and that's because it's essentially just Bayhem at its finest. It is just pure, unfiltered, unflinching Michael Bay chaos, mayhem, explosive, in-your-face, needlessly egregious Transformers action from start to finish. The character stuff, yeah, whatever. It's the end of Sam's journey. I like Shia LaBeouf as Sam, but that stuff, it really doesn't matter, because this is just Michael Bay's Transformers action at its absolute finest. He fine-tuned it here. He found the right combination and perfected the formula. It feels massive and grand in scale, and it is just so much damn fun to watch. Number 1, Transformers. Again, I had a lot of internal debate on this one, whether Dark of the Moon or the 2007 first Michael Bay Transformers movie was going to be taking this top spot, but I am going to go with the 2007 Transformers today, because I think that this one, although it didn't necessarily go as big and chaotic and crazy as the other Transformers movies from Michael Bay did, I do think it managed to find a decent blend of solid characters. It actually had an okay story if you don't think about it too much. It really just feels like an enjoyable blockbuster summer flick. Like, that's what it is. It is not pure Bayhem the whole time, nor is it this like flawless masterpiece and the best thing that the Transformers have ever done. No, it's got the action, its characters are fine, and the story is serviceable enough. So I think when you put all of that together, compared to the rest of the movies, it does stand above the rest, because it does just enough of everything, whereas the rest of the movies are severely lacking in some areas or another. So for today, the 2007 Bayformers original is going to be my number 1 pick. So that is all for today's video, folks. Be sure to let me know down in the comments if you agree or disagree with my ranking. While you're at it, don't forget to let me know how you would have ranked all 8 of the Transformers movies. If you're a movie lover whatsoever, then my channel is the place to be for you, be it rankings like this one, top 10 videos, tier videos, versus videos, I have it all, and so much more. With new series cooking up behind the scenes at all time, trust me folks, I have some big plans on the way, and well over 800 videos currently on the channel for you to enjoy. So if you enjoyed this particular video, then be sure to hit that thumbs up button, and if any of that sounds like it's right for you and you want to see more from me, then smash that subscribe button right now. While you're at it, don't forget to ring that little bell icon, that way you can be notified about all of my latest uploads. And as always, stay safe, thank you so much for watching, and that's a wrap. Hey you, yeah you, if you made it this far, just know I appreciate you, and while you're here, consider hitting that subscribe button.